as Captain Nick Vujicic. And they're like, say what? I'm like, yeah, we got some new technology, Tesla, right? I don't know what to say. The parents are freaking out. They're like, did you know about this? No, I didn't know about this. Are you sure you didn't get an email or something? No, I didn't. The kids are like, yeah, man, this is so cool. We're going to put it on Instagram. Everyone gets on the plane and they're like talking and, my friend, he says, okay, come on the plane. So I walk on the plane just like this. And I look down the aisle and all the heads are like. And I got the microphone and I said, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for running so fast. And they're like, oh my gosh. Some people came to Jesus right there and there. It was awesome. Apostle Paul was a Gentile to the Gentiles. I'll be the pilot to the passengers, whatever I need to be. But I'll tell you, sometimes you don't see the full picture. And you have a choice. You have a choice. To believe in the fear. I'm not saying that all fear is bad. There's rational and irrational. But it's so much easier to overcome your fear when you're not alone and there's a group of people to say, hey, we know this is bigger than you. We know it. But you're not alone. And this is not bigger than us together. And us together can overcome. And sometimes it's hard to talk when you are in that state to admit that you need help. I was there as well. I didn't see my future, so I believed the lies. I'm not good enough. I'm ugly. Just give up. There is no hope. You're alone. You'll always be alone. There is no happiness at the end of your road. Just give up. I attempted suicide despite having a loving home at age 10. What I would have missed out on. Could you imagine being able to go back in time to the day that I was born and my mom and dad are distraught? And you say, don't worry, he'll be just fine. He's going to meet presidents. He won't be able to kill a fly. Friggin' fly. But he'll meet presidents and he'll write books in 55 languages. I don't know the languages, but someone did them for me. He's going to be in a short film, Butterfly Circus, and 80 million people will watch it. He'll do a music video where 6 million people will watch it, and many people will write letters and say, if it wasn't for your book, if it wasn't for the short film, if it wasn't for that music video, I wouldn't be here. I just had someone tell me that today, backstage. It's like, I'm rich, man. I didn't need arms and legs. I want to be living a life of purpose, of peace, of joy. I want to be somebody that we don't talk about the success of Nick, but we talk about how kind he was, or how forgiving he was, or how gracious he was. Maybe that list may not be long, but at least some good things of how I was a father, how I was a husband. I try to be the best husband and father that I can be, but also know I'm on a mission. And that mission is a good thing to be reminded of. Because sometimes in our life it gets really easy to be distracted by things. The good and excellent things distract us from the most important things. Do I happen to have an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old here tonight? Do I Yeah, I see you guys. If you're 8 or 9 years old, can you stand up, please, so I can see you? Awesome. Can you look at me? I've got a quick question for you. We're going to teach everyone a really cool lesson. Ready? This is yes and this is no. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, this is about knowing who you are and what you want and figuring out in your life, when is the part in your life that you actually feel like everything's going to be okay. 8 or 9 year olds, thank you so much for volunteering. Again, this is yes, this is no. The question tonight is, yes or no, have you ever in your life, ever been stressed? Yes, thank you, sit down. 8 or 9 year olds who are stressed and they know that everything's not okay. They're my witnesses. Oh, my brother and my sister, they pull my hair, they annoy me all the time, they take my toys. My mom and dad, they don't give me everything I want. I'm so stressed. And 13-year-olds, give me a whoop. Any 13-year-olds, give me a whoop. Yeah, now you know what stress is. Oh, everything around me is changing. My parents are freaking me out. They don't understand me. I don't understand them. I put a do not disturb sign on my door and they do not respect my privacy. I need to figure myself out. I need to know who I am. I thought I could trust my friends, but then they backstab me. They invite me to the party, then they uninvite me to the party. I'm so stressed. I need a boyfriend. That's a 13-year-old, 17-year-old. I gotta get out of high school. If I could just get into college and everything's gonna be what? Okay, you get into college and is everything okay? No, you get into college now, what do you need? Money! What if I can just find a job and everything's gonna be okay? You finally get your job. And after 2 days, you look at your boss. You look at God and you say, seriously? You gave me him? I hate him. He stresses me out. Then all the single people, oh, when I get married, then everything is going to be okay. No. Go talk to the married people. They're going to say, honey, if you ain't happy single, you ain't going to be happy married. Can you hear an amen? Because all the married people say amen. But Nick, you don't understand. If I could just pay off my house and get a couple rental properties, then everything's going to be okay. No. What does that look like? Are we thankful and living a purpose-filled life? The only way you would really have an honest answer is if I told you this. You have 15 seconds to breathe. 10. There's the time already. Thank you very much for that cue. My dad, we just buried him 5 months ago at 62. And people say that's young. You've all been to funerals of younger people, though, haven't you? What's young? What's life? What's time? I'm 34, pretty short for my age. It took you a second, But in life, you don't know how long we're living. When was the last time you hugged your wife, bought her flowers, massaged her stinky feet? When was the last time you hugged your mum or your dad? I wouldn't be who I am if it didn't take someone to believe in the unseen. When they look at the ultrasounds, there's a lot less unseen. There's a lot still unseen, but there's something cool that they've seen for the very first time. A heartbeat that beats faster than you and mine. It's life. And it takes someone to believe. And sometimes it's not even their own mother. And it gets real when you finally meet a woman who says, I'm a survivor, my mom tried to abort me, or I actually am so thankful for the pregnancy center that showed my mom me, that convinced her that I'm okay, and it's going to be okay, and that she's not alone. What's the price of a life? Is it $700? You can't put a price tag. You can't. It's wrong. There's not another Nick Vujicic. There's not another you. These babies, there's only one of them. Not millions of them, but millions of each of them. They're one of a kind. And who knows what beautiful things can come from their broken pieces. Who knows what other mothers they may encourage to also take a step of faith. Who knows how many women will actually never have to go through PAS. It's real. And it's because someone believed. I believe. And you're here tonight because so do you. For me in my life, my own faith, I want to love everyone. I want to help as many people as I can. And no matter who you are, you're beautiful. And for me, when I gave my life to God at 15, I said, God, use me. And now I know heaven is real. And my dad's not 6 foot under. He's up there waiting for me. And that's where hope kicks in. And that's when it becomes real. But giving someone a chance to live and find life, peace, joy, purpose, it's unexplainable. It's unattainable. I'm so thankful that tonight we talk about donating to the pregnancy center right now. Because with every dollar, it counts. That bus is there. They need medical equipment, ongoing fees. They need maybe another staff member to come on board because it's so much. The demand, I've heard, has gone up from where it was 30% more. It takes time. It takes money. It takes maintenance. We're thankful for the bus. We're thankful for whoever's given up until this point has given, and that has saved those souls. That has saved those lives. That has encouraged their mothers. But there's a whole nother group in the next 12 months of lives that need saving, mothers that need a loving community to catch her and carry her because she cannot walk. Will we help tonight? Will you dig deep tonight in your heart? I'm not going to twist your arm, but I will if I have to. But tonight we have a bunch of volunteers that gave you a packet. You should have an envelope with a pen. Can I see that held up above your head? Shake it, wave it. Let me see. Get that pen, shake it. Okay, put it back on your lap. And you should open up that green envelope. And there is a card. And I just want you to know, tonight, your decision, whatever your decision is, and how much to give, is really going to make a difference. They have a goal to raise $200,000 tonight. It's what it needs. They'll never ask for more than what they need. It's not for profit, it's a non-profit, thus no profit. Lenny was not paid for tonight. I was not paid for tonight. We came here with our hearts because we love the people who have actually also helped this center even put this whole event on as well. Underwrote every cost that you see happening here tonight because we want every dollar from you to go directly to save lives. If you've come here with your wife, then you know who to talk to. If she squeezes your hand, then talk to her. I want you to just take a moment right now. Just grab it out. I see you're already writing it down. I'm really thankful. I want you to have a moment. I'll give you 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Can we just share some love in this room? Can you just hug the person sitting next to you right now? Can we just give some love around the room? Let's fill it with love. I see some people not writing in your green envelopes. Let me know if you need a hand. Then you can come and kill this friggin' fly. I am so close to bringing Peter to smashing this fly. If you can ignore it, I can ignore it. Pete, get the gun. Come and kill this fly, please. Yeah, I'll stand still. It's on my head the whole time. Everyone say, go, Pete. If he comes back, get the gun. So thankful I'm seeing people get there it is! You get out of here. Just ignore it, it's okay. All right, we're nearly done. The most important part's here, so we're no more distracted. So I see checks being written. Write it out to the Pregnancy Center, I believe so. That's, yep, the Pregnancy Center. So thankful for each and every one of you who were here. And you know, I kind of feel like it's a little, you know, a speaker knows when it's not kind of done, but I kind of feel like I've said everything I can. But I kind of want to ask if there's any questions. I might take 3 questions from the crowd. Since this is such an intimate crowd, would you like a time, real quick, intimate setting of questions? Okay, under one condition. Yeah. After you write your donation, to seal up the envelope. And if you're done with it, just put it down and then we'll go from there. And that envelope will be taken, I guess, at the back. There'll be a table. You know what would be really cool? Do we have any volunteers here from the team? Can we just pass all the envelopes to the side of the room now? Can we collect those envelopes now while we're doing the Q&A? Is that okay, guys? Yeah? Cool. So everyone pass the envelopes down to your left. We've got 4 volunteers to receive it. Pass it all the way down. That's it. Keep passing along. I want to see those. And obviously there's a chance over down the back to pass that envelope along if you don't want to pass it along here. But there's another person on this side if this is closer to you. It's just a good thing to get it done. And then you have a second opportunity on the way out. Awesome. Great. So would you like some time of intimate Q&A with me real quick? I don't get to do this a lot because it's a smaller crowd we can. So let's do that. Any questions at all? Yes. Yes. Hi. I would love a photo with you as long as you come up and give me a big hug as well. Is that all right? Let's come up here. Come right up now. Yep. Can someone show her a way to the stage? Yep, through the back. To your left, honey. Cool, thank you. And the rule is, we're good, Peter. The rule is you can't repeat the question. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, hello.
My name is Britt. My wife, Craterian. She's been following you the last 7 years when you were last up in Portland. Born with the same disability as yours. And she's been an inspiration to my life as well as you. I've never had anybody with such a big heart change my life from there.
Thank God. Love you, and I look forward to meeting you down the back. Thank you. And oh, hello. Give me a big hug. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you. I'd love to take. She's got my humor. She knows who I am. Yeah, I'll take the selfie. Come here. Put your hand around me. There we go. Get the fly in there, too.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You got it?
Thank you so much.
You're beautiful. Ma'am in the green shirt. You see my finger pointing at you? Yeah, that's you, yeah? My wife is not from Hawaii. She's from heaven. She's half Japanese, half Mexican. We call that Japsican. And she was born and raised in Mexico. And she has had a Japanese father, has a Japanese and a Mexican mother. So I'm learning Spanish quite quickly. And yeah, my family's amazing. We're you know, overlated. Overjoyed and elated. I just made up a word. We are elated for December, and really thankful that they're growing at a good pace, comparable to each other. So we're really thankful. So yeah, I don't know what else to share, but apart from when we met face to face, it was love at first sight. Couldn't feel my legs, and the way that I proposed to her was we put the ring in a cream puff, and because I didn't want help, you know, like I need help sometimes to kill a fly. I didn't want anyone to help, you know, get my ring out or this or that. So how do we do that? So I asked her to feed me the cream puff with the powdered sugar on it, and I was able to finish the cream puff without choking on the ring. And then I said, baby, let me kiss your hand. And so she gives me her left hand. I go, mwah, 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 mwah. Then I went down on her ring finger. She thought I was getting kinky or something. I didn't lay a hand on her or anything. But I pulled back, and she saw the ring, and she cried. And I said, I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you please marry me? And what was so awesome was on the way back, this is a story I don't get to share this part. Well, going on the way back, we rented a sailboat in Santa Barbara, and there was this guy that was on his boat. We were far away from him when we proposed, and we're on the way back to the dock. And he comes out of his boat topless, And he just looks at us and he says, yep, it gets better. What? Right, so that's been the line for us. It just gets better and better. And so we're so thankful we're together. Yeah, thank you. Amen. I'm really thankful to God for her and the peace and joy that we have in the family. So maybe we'll have two more if that's okay. Yes.
You mentioned that at 15 that was a turning point in your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you talk about what triggered that event, what transpired for you at that time?
Sure. The question was, can I expand on, if I can, in a personal way, what happened at 15 years old that really brought me to a decision to believe in my spiritual journey with God. And so for me, it was a question like, if you're a loving God, then why is there pain? And then you find out in the Bible, it's not God that's going around the world like a roaring lion, killing and devouring and destroying. He didn't bring famine. He didn't bring war. It's the devil and he's real. And I'm not atheist, not because I've seen miracles. I've actually seen miracles with my own eyes. I have actually a pair of shoes in my closet, just in case he says yes to me. I had a medically unexplainable disease in my spinal column called a syrinx. Diagnosis in 2002, prognosis at age 45, I'll have metal rods in my back. Irreversible, can't cure it. In 2012, there were not 3 holes, there were 2 holes. In 2014, were not 2 holes, there was 1 hole, and the doctors are like, and I'm like, And 2015, there were no holes, and I have a, but that's not why I started, because, and I hadn't seen a miracle since then, but at that time, I actually knew I wasn't going to be an atheist because I saw demons. And when you see a demon walking through your San Francisco hotel room, you ain't an atheist after that, baby. And so when you know that the spiritual realm is real and the decisions that we make is real, and it's more than just being a good person and hoping that you hope to go to a good place that you hope exists, there's not a lot of hope in that. But actually, if you believe in the power that could actually resurrect from the grave, only one did that. And if you actually look at all the stories of the sex slaves, there aren't many, if any, other religions that can actually help a girl who's been in that position to actually find redemption. I'm not a Christian because of Christians. Don't be a Christian because of Christians, because you won't be Christian for long. But when you actually see what Jesus did, that was very different than all the other stuff. So for me, the question was, why was I born this way? And I saw a story in the Bible. A man was born blind. Jesus was asked why. Jesus said, it was done so that the works of God would be revealed through him. And I'm like, okay. And so then what was cool, though, Jesus didn't sit the blind man down and say, hey, my name is JC, and I'm the healer, and I'm going to give you a facial. He spat in the dirt, put mud on this guy's face. Can you imagine if I'm blind and you put mud on my face? I'm like, hey, whoa, who are you? What are you doing? He didn't flinch, and he was still. And then he saw. And what I realized was I was waiting for a plan, but if I get a plan, then what's the point of faith? And it's not a cop-out. It's not a coping mechanism. It's real. There's something for you that you cannot see, but you won't find it until you look for it. And you won't look for it until you actually believe that it could exist. And so that's where faith begins. And that's where it began for me. So, all right. 2 last ones, and that's it, okay? And then it's going to be you in that blue shirt. Okay, yes.
Hi, Nick. It's so nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
My mom died 7 years ago. She was 62.
So sorry.
I didn't know about your dad, so I'm sorry. My husband
Okay.
died 6 months ago.
I'm so sorry.
52.
Oh my gosh.
So I just want to hear from you, for anybody else suffering through loss and grief, just hope in that
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
arena.
Look, for me, there are even very hard questions of people saying, well, my loved one, they committed suicide, what happens to them? I don't want to get into doctrine, but the bottom line is we serve a merciful God. According to the God of the Bible, we serve a God of grace and love and mercy, even though we don't understand him many times. It's unfortunately at times at funerals that you wonder about the bigger questions of life. For me, if I didn't have the hope of heaven, I wouldn't be who I am. Money, drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography, fame, and fortune. If you put your happiness in temporary things, your happiness will be temporary. Very simple. Doesn't matter what season of life you're in or what you have, what you don't have. And so praying and reading the Bible are the two things that we may not know how to start doing at the beginning. But the wild card that God gives us is, he says, if you don't have faith, ask me for faith, and I will give you faith. It's like, it's huge. And when you read stuff that maybe doesn't make sense, don't focus on what doesn't make sense, but focus on what does make sense and hold on to that. And then I'll say this, 4 points to get out of depression. The basics for me on a psychological, mental, emotional, spiritual level. Number one is taking one day at a time, especially with grief, yeah? And don't put timelines on how you should be feeling by a certain time. You don't need that extra pressure, yeah? Or what should happen next in your life. Just take it one day at a time and just give yourself permission to do whatever you got to do. The second thing is asking people for help. It's so good to ask people for help when you finally have someone to talk to, or you have the courage, or even the words, right? The third thing is actually go and helping somebody else. I think it's one of the best medicines of the heart. When my boys are teenagers, I'm taking them to a cancer ward hospital to show them what cancer is and how we as a family can help them get their mind off the burdensome day, and kind of bring light in their day, or feed the homeless or something, right? Go to an orphanage or something. Go to a pregnancy center, yeah. Maybe not as a teenager, but yeah. But you get what I mean. And the fourth thing is just pray as you can. And there's even a prayer in the Bible if you don't know how to pray. And with His grace and mercy, He's not a God who will zap you with lightning as soon as you stuff up. He loves you and cares for you, and He's a Father. I love you, and I hope that those things can kind of encourage you in your walk. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. All right. Lucky last, in the blue shirt, yes.
Hi, Nick.
How you doing?
We met a couple of years ago.
Wonderful.
You don't remember, but you spoke at Ashton Christian Fellowship.
Excellent.
And
What's your name?
Nick.
Nice to meet you, Nick. Hey, I'm your half brother, man. What's up?
And I'm a big fan of what you're doing. I think it's incredible what God is doing in your life. Right now, I'm going through a valley in my life that I'm trying to see the good in it, but it's difficult to do at times. My adopted mom has been dealing with dementia for the last 10 years. And it's been hard. She lost the ability to speak. She's in pain, and the doctors are saying that she only has a couple of weeks left. And I don't want to be angry at God, but I wonder, why do we have Alzheimer's? Why do we have dementia? And I know that sin brought death into the world, and I know that Jesus is going to redeem it all, but it's still hard.
Thank you so much, Nick. So many layers there. There are many things that we won't understand until we go home. That's for sure. But I was actually inspired by a man who was named Phil Toth. He was 22 years old. Nothing was wrong with him until one day. And one day he had symptoms where he could not talk for about 7 days, and then he could talk, and then he couldn't talk for 7 days, and he could talk, and then he lost ability to walk, and then he could walk, and then he lost ability to walk, and for 12 months they didn't know what was going on. Lou Gehrig's disease. He was given at that diagnosis a prognosis of 3 months to live. And I'm going to tell you a couple things. So he held on to heaven, hope, real hope. And unfortunately, the reason why I really gave my life to Jesus was not because it was just easy to accept him, but it was so hard of what he had to do for me. He sweat blood. Biblically, Jesus sweat blood because of fear before he went to the cross and what Jesus did for you. And we can never understand the love of God, especially when he sends his son Jesus to die. For me, I don't understand that. We'll never comprehend that. So number one, the Bible says his grace is sufficient. Number two, that Jesus died for us, and that heaven is real and resurrection is real, and yes, Jesus is going to redeem it. But Phil Toth, he actually started a website with a laser technology with his head that enabled him to actually, before he became truly paralyzed, to start a website to encourage many bedridden people. And he told them all, it's not the end. We always have hope. Our bodies may decay, but we always have hope. We might have pain, but we're carried when we cannot walk. And at that time, he couldn't talk and he couldn't walk, yet he started this website and he touched hundreds of people's lives. And I thought to myself, if this guy can't walk, can't talk, and he's reaching people, then what can I do? And so hold on to heaven and hold on to real hope, and it doesn't mean that you should feel like you can see good from it. But let me tell you this, one thing that I tell people, I'll tell you two things, is imagine if you feel like sometimes in the valley to give up, to not give up, because in 10 years' time, God forbid your mother dies, right? But if she does die, like my dad died, your husband died, and your father died, there are times in life where you feel like giving up. But if you get through this, and when you get through this in 10 years' time, let me ask you, what would it be worth if you could turn back and actually 10 years from now, encourage somebody who's your age, who has the same mother situation as you, who literally feels like there is no hope. And you can go to them and say, who told you that your hopelessness is real? Who told you that your hopelessness was real? Right? Doesn't feel good, doesn't feel like we got hope, doesn't feel like we're loved, doesn't feel like we're cared, but we are. And when you go through that struggle, you can still, though, eventually help someone else. And you're welcome. And if I was, you're welcome. And so I would go through this all over again if I could just help little Daniel know that he's beautiful just the way that he is, that little boy with no arms and legs. And I know that my parents would have gone through the exact same thing, the exact same way, if they could actually encourage Daniel's parents to say, hey, he's going to be okay. It's all about saving a life, right? And sometimes you got to save a life to save a soul. So you're a life saver, you're a soul saver. You just can't feel it, you just can't see it, and just believe. Take one day at a time and keep going, my friend. Nick, I love you so much, man. And my last bit of information that I could ever give you is, ask your mom everything you ever wanted to ask her, and I know she can't talk to you, but you can talk to her. And just make sure that you embrace every minute that you can. Yeah, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise, really. It's so hard. Sometimes we don't get to say goodbye to our mothers all the time, do we? And so embrace as much as you can, one day at a time, and keep going. And my favorite psalm to read in times like that is Psalm 91. Psalm 91. And in times that I'm angry at God, I read Job 38. And if you want to know why everyone's laughing, you should check it out. It has been such a pleasure, a joy, a refreshing moment to be here with you this evening. Thank you to everyone for organizing, the sponsors, everyone who underwrote it. Britt, Esther, Lenny, everyone, Gary Phelps, love you, Gary Phelps. It's so beautiful to be here, and I want you to know Gary Phelps is one of the greatest friends that we have who has Down syndrome, and he was asked by his mum, hey, you know, Nick's coming into town. He's like, yeah, what do you think of Nick? He's a great guy. He said, well, you know he has no arms and legs. He says, yep. Well, what do you think that means? You don't care? No, it's okay. Well, what do you think that means? Well, I guess that it doesn't matter that he has no arms and legs. Having arms and legs doesn't matter. And so we learn from each other, don't we? We have a lot to learn from everyone. So may God bless you. And tonight, I don't have a lot of energy to do this, but for 25 minutes, hard stop time at the lobby, if you want to come up and do an express hug line, just don't pick me up and take me with you. Gary Phelps will run after you. But there he is. But if you want to take a photo, please get your cell phone ready, but no flash, because it hurts your eyes after 400 times. No arms, no legs, no eyes. Okay. If you did not hand in the green envelope, please hand it in. If you did not write a check, that's fine. We love you still. And if you still are considering to give something small or big, talk it over with the family, and you know how to find these guys. Thank you to the Pregnancy Center, the director, the board of directors, the staff, the doctor. Thank you for coming tonight. Such a wonderful honor to be here and a part of this. May God bless you all, and we bid you a good night. Thank you.